Hey, and welcome to Nowhere. It's been about 3 years, and I finally figured out my password. And I remembered that I started a YouTube page. Go figure. And I decided that my first new video, that what I was going to start with, was one of my favorite toys. As a kid, I grew up. I was about 10 when I started this, and I got the original G1 Seacons, Piranacon, King Poseidon. He was super awesome. Unfortunately, years ago, I had to sell him to, buy food. I was going to college and, you need money. So when Big Bad Toy Store put out this, I had to get it because he was one of my favorite sets. And before the original G1 line ended, this is when they started getting into the kind of crazy G2 colors, but it worked for this because those characters, they're sea characters. So it made sense for them to be these, fruity kind of colors, fruity pebble colors. And I loved it. And it did really great for me. And like I said, if I didn't need money at the time, I would not have sold them. Most of them survived, but this set, was complete. So it had to go. So I eventually got it back, and ta-da. But that is not what we're actually talking about today. We're talking about the Generation Select Piranacon. Now, I haven't completed him entirely because I don't have all, there's like 6 figures in the line. And you can see Overbite here is the arm. He is normally like the gun, but he comes with a gun, so whatever. I have a good time with him, and I really enjoy the Transformer. This is from the Combiner Wars era. Like I said, Generation Select, so it made sense that they would be like, these cool slipcase boxes and all the good parts and accessories and everything, and still maintained the G1 look. I'm super happy about that. They also released a box set with the like ivory color. Not so much into that, but I will probably buy it just because I love these figures so much. I gotta say though, I'm kind of disappointed. The Combiner Wars was a good idea, but a bad execution. These guys get original legs, well, not the fists, but kind of like an original mold for the fist. It's a little better than the standard edition that America got, but they really need like metal parts to make this a better figure. It just doesn't have the weight to kind of hold it all together, and that was always my greatest problem with Transformers from the Combiner Wars eras, is they don't peg together well. So I still love him. He's phenomenal. I haven't gotten the last figure. There's a few listings on eBay, so it is what it is. I will eventually figure it out. But I like him. He just he doesn't stand very well, and that's the only downside. Like they gave him the look that just knocks it out of the park. So I figured I'd just briefly talk about him because he is one of a legacy of the original, and it is just a phenomenal figure, and I thoroughly enjoyed him. And I just got the last 2 guys here. I was able to get the other 3 at the previous DairyCon toy shows, which is where my shirt is from. And I just really thoroughly enjoy this figure, even though it has a lot of failures. And that's the point. You don't have to love every single figure. You don't have to love every single version. But, since like 1987, I have not stopped buying Transformers. And I just thoroughly enjoy them to the level that I can. Hasbro cuts here, Takara cuts there, third parties here, third parties there. Maybe I'll even get that King Poseidon that the third party has. They look pretty legit, and they have like a black noir and purple kind of colors. I saw it once and I didn't pick it up. I kind of regret it, but you got to have the money, you got to have time and patience. So I just figured I'd talk briefly about this super phenomenal character that lit up my childhood. I was like 10 years old when I went to SeaWorld, And my parents, grandparents, and everything were kind enough to get me all of these dudes in one shot, guaranteeing I had the whole crew. And I kept every single figure. I transformed them all the time. Overbite was my favorite dude. I don't have all, like I said, the other one. And I can't wait to get him because I'd like to complete the set. You know, obviously, a lot of Transformers people are completionists. I'm cool with what I got, but, you know, I'd like to wrap them up and really set them up next to this box set and just have them sitting in my, you know, man cave and really enjoying them to the maximum of their enjoyment as possible. So I get the third party set. I maybe get the Generation Select box set with the ivory colors. And, you know, they didn't make a lot of this character. So I really enjoy when they do, because those fringe characters are really a lot of the ones that I actually bought when I was a kid or got for presents. And I'll probably talk on that a little bit later.